It's a boy named Sue, coming at you live straight from Baked Potato. We're coming back in with some Disco Elysium tonight. Last time we stopped a little abruptly, so I figured before we did anything else, we would at least pick up where we left off here and find a better stopping point in this game before we moved on anywhere else. Okay, yeah, last time we had literally stopped very abruptly after finding Kuno's dad in here. The air stinks with something sour.
The aging alcoholic is still there, breathing. The air in the room is stale.
You really Kuno's father?
The light from the window is weak, but it seems like he is. His wild, unwashed mane bears a familiar ginger tone. Even the hair on his chest is coppery. There's still plenty to be scared of here, just not what you thought.
Doesn't look like you're going to fuck up anyone anytime, or fuck anyone up anytime soon, little man.
No response. A pair of half-open bug eyes is staring back at you from the dark, empty and frozen. It's clear that the person behind them is not awake. His half-open eyes give him the look of a dead man. But he is in there, and not enjoying himself.
Same, bro.
Fucking Kev.
Do you need help?
The pile of blankets grunts. It's hard to say if there's anything left you could do.
Alright, boy. Alright, what was it? Trying to... Come on. There we go.
Master Investigator, you just can't keep yourself away from locked and hidden places, can you?
What do you mean?
Nothing. You're right. Get in there. Deep. Invade every personal space. Break every lock.
I'm just browsing.
Yes, that's what it is. A quick peek here. A short glance there. It's all quite delectable. A phone book lies open on the table, covering a stack of utility bills. Right next to it, in plain sight, sits a small bottle of amphetamine, conveniently equipped with a straw.
Take the speed.
You pocket the bottle as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Don't wait. Celebrate. Blast that shit right here. Take inventory of it once this boring table shit is done.
Well, I know I've been regretting sending Kim away, because you know, I miss my partner and whatnot, but you know, if we're gonna be splitting the kilo with Kuno, I think it's for the best that he's not around to witness that. You know? We should go pay our night's rent before we lose any of this fucking money. have? I know we could level up, but I don't want to do any of that just yet. Have a new pair of pants. Thank God for black jeans. Everyone looks good in black jeans. Combine it with your favorite book t-shirt and a yellow plastic bag to channel that laid-back trash bin raccoon meets a cool professor vibe. Or do whatever you want. It's just a pair of black jeans after all. Alright, so that gives you +1 composure. What about the ones that I currently have? They do the... Yeah, no, we have to keep the god-ass jeans. Their item description is just way more interesting. The sea breeze carries more than salt. Meat. Not rotten, not fresh. Grilled.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. It has given up all its secrets. There seems to be a sunken sea fort on the islet in the bay. Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
What do we have here? Aha, more money. Etched into the wood, barely visible. Remember the rest is lost to time. Well, isn't that unfortunate? Do you think it was Alamo or Titans? I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm like this. Alright, let's go in here. Pay our rent before we lose any of this money. I'm worried about it. I don't want to end up on the street.
Can I help you?
As funny as the hobo cop thought was, I don't want that to become a harsh reality. About my bill for tonight.
Got the 20 real?
Yeah, 20 real for the night.
Good. You got the room for the night, but remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow.
How could anyone forget, asshole?
Another thing. Great. I love those.
So the phone line is dead?
Yes, and the phone company is taking its sweet time sending someone to fix it. Losers.
Is it true that there was foul play?
Who told you that?
I would never disclose my sources. That would be dishonorable.
Fine, yeah. It looked like someone had messed with the wiring. It was shortly after the hanging, but I don't know if it's at all related. Plenty of arseholes around here who aren't murderers. If you do find out who cut the line, though, let me know, so I can forward them the repair bill.
There's something else I want to ask about.
Yes?
Can you pour me a drink?
Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this a shaker?
He sounds irritated.
No, there's nothing there.
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie and doing this?
He shakes the imaginary shaker furiously.
Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I'm not a bartender. I'm a cafeteria manager. Is there anything else you wanted?
Please make an exception. I got the shakes bad, man. I need my pacifier.
Even more reason for me not to serve you, sir. Was there anything else you needed, other than alcohol?
Nah, bye. Alright, so we need to go back and talk to Everard, right? Okay, we need to talk to the little girl in the fishing village about the armored gloves. Oh, we didn't report back to the cleaning lady. We gotta go do that before I forget. Alright. Fuck everything else. Let's just go talk to the lady really quick. I'm really enjoying the music to this game too. Enjoying just about everything about it so far. I will say that I wish that I would have understood everything a little bit better. Because I do have some regrets about some decisions that I've made. And I feel like just in general I've been a little wishy-washy about things. And I kind of have some regrets about that. But I love that this is the kind of game that has me like thinking to myself hours later, man, I really wish I would have touched that dead man's penis.
Give me a moment.
The cleaning lady still seems to be having difficulty breathing. I didn't find any counterculture people in apartment 10. It was just a real estate agent setting up the room for new tenants.
I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them.
Yeah. I'm sure everything will be fine. This apartment building needs slow change. Imperceptibly slow.
Yes. Well. I hope they're good people.
Alright, I'm off. I'm pretty sure we found everything up on the balcony up there. At least for the time being. Alright, I want to unlock another slot so we can start internalizing the Jamrock Shuffle.
G'day to you, officer.
It's a man with a salami.
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything.
Yeah, fuck it, let's pull it.
You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then, nothing happens.
Push it harder.
Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea interrupts the silence of the situation. The man watches you in silence, very slowly cutting off another slice of his salami and putting it in his mouth.
Alright.
A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the water lock to get across the canal. Some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
Alrighty. I think that's tomorrow. Let's go talk to Everard. I was gonna say talk to Everard. Does Manana have anything to say?
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
That weasel I visited, turns out he has one hell of a colonial mug collection.
Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, his mug collection certainly represented antiquated social values.
Like I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but the bossman said he's a real piece of work. Thanks for helping out, friend.
Okay. Definitely afford to heal the morale then.
A rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marsh.
I'm not gonna fuck around with that right now. Alright.
Mr. Dubois, every worker?
He leans towards you, waiting for you to complete a sentence. Huh. A member of the board?
That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today?
I opened the door you asked me. Can we discuss the murder now?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
There is no way to sway this man in any direction. He is unsuggestible and unswayable. Just tell the truth.
I may have gone inside and seen a collection of racist mugs.
Just as I thought. Culturally antiquated mug collection. What a weasel. Pissing on Everart's Rainbow Coalition. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
I've heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike. I'd like to hear what you know about it.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
Our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire? I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Hold on, you have a village elephant?
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Go on.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Wait, they moved the container?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
How did he end up hanging from that tree?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
Who exactly did the pushing?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you. Idealistic people who want to make sure that bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
You believe they killed the hangman?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Are you not afraid that we're going to arrest them?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
If he's just boasting, then it sure doesn't feel like that to you. He's not worried.
The mug collection I mentioned was in the apartment. I found a similar mug in the trash with the hangman's clothes.
Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? You guys are just light years ahead of me. I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best, helping people, with the power of politics.
Do you think this weasel has something to do with my case?
Oh, no, 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 no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
This weasel might have cleaned up after the killers.
Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
There's more to police work than whacking an imaginary baton.
Of course, Harry. I'm not a real police officer. You are.
There was a bullet in the hangman's head.
So they shot him?
He sounds pleasantly surprised. Yes, someone shot him in the head before they hanged him.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Harry. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard. What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my favorite policeman, Harry.
How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company?
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company, after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates. You said it, Harry. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
He's not scared of them. If anything, he likes them being here. Strange.
You mentioned a lawyer girl.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
Tell me about Titus Hardy and his crew.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
What more can you tell me? Who's second in command? Who's the most violent?
Harry, they're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
I met those Hardys. Can you ask them to cooperate with me?
But of course! It's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
I don't need it. I only wanted you to help me out with the Hardy boys.
Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else?
Good talk.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet.
Yet?
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
This is another corrupt scheme, isn't it? I'm neither left nor right. I do what my heart tells me to do.
What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to forget about it? Or do you think it wants to be found? I think it's lonely and cold. I think it wants to be found, and I have a proposal for you.
What would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
What are the signatures for?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Where is this place exactly?
On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like a vicious spirit. You're already pretty deep into this. What's a little more? No one can see you here in Martinez.
What will happen to the current occupants?
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Sorry, I was responding to a message. Fine, if I happen to be there, I can ask them.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here,
He hands you an open white envelope.
you need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the water lock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then we can talk about your gun.
I did it, Everett. I made it even shadier.
What?
The brew. The shady brew.
Oh, how could I forget your little side project? Well done, Harry. Well done. Don't even tell me what it was. But good job. I love it when workers take the initiative like this.
So do I. That's one tasty brew. You should drink some right now, if you can.
Fuck yeah. Alright.
See
Bye-bye.
you soon, Debardeur. Just kidding. But not too much.
Okay, so what do we have to do? Can't get the signatures, we can't do the water lock. We can talk to Titus again, I guess. And go split our kilo with Kuno. That'll be entertaining.
That felt good. Your heart's pounding nicely. You should tell people to fuck off more often.
Fuck yeah, motherfuckers.
That's the spirit. Never forget. The whole world's a wooden house, and you're a goddamn flamethrower.
Alright, let's go do speed with the child. Took care of the drug situation.
Alright, so you've got Kuno's kilo. Here is how we do it. First, give Kuno's kilo, then Kuno gives you half back. That's how we split it. It's the best way, street way.
Aren't you gonna ask how I got past your dad?
Word on the street is, you send your little friend in dressed as a hooker, distracted him. That's some sick shit. Tell your little slanty-eyed friend, respect from the Kuno. Kuno wants to hear all about it, but first we split the kilo, then we shoot the shit.
By kilo, you mean gram, right?
Kuno knows what Kuno means.
I'm keeping it. You don't need more drugs. You're 12.
Alright. Kuno knew you tried that sneaky pig shit on him. Kuno's got brains. This doesn't start Kuno. So Kuno's gonna give you one more chance. No, this big. Shit, it is major. Kuno won't take this shit lightly. Pieces are moving pig. This is fucking domino shit.
It's hard to see how not giving a boy a bag of amphetamine would cause some catastrophic cascade response.
Tick, 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 tick. Decision time. What's it gonna be? You got to go for Kuno.
Can't fucking do this shit, dude. No, this is staying with me.
Alright. You fucked the Kuno. Everybody, Kuno got fucked by his pocket pick. Trust me, when we getting our business up, the pig throws it all away. I told you he can't be trusted. I told you. I told you he's still the shit. Relax, Sid. We got plenty of kilo in the ground, in the tree. This ain't about that.
Turns to you.
This is about you and Kuno. You mismanaged this shit. Now everything is fucked between us again. How are we gonna make this look to the Kuno, huh? Kuno believes in second chances. Kuno doesn't believe in third chances.
In truth, Kuno doesn't really believe there's anything you can do to make up for this. The damage is irreparable.
I looked around in there. It's not the easy life you've got going on in that apartment.
The fuck do you know about Kuno's life? Kuno's got plans. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, what are your plans?
6 meters underground, below the piping from before the wall, the collapsed remains of the bottom-layer storm drain system. There are 2 stone flashlights with piles of batteries next to them, beside 2 web holes, in the dark and opening into the lower tunnels.
Met your dad, Kuno.
Yeah? How the fuck are you still alive, pig?
Kuno, your dad is a half scary thing he might have been. Now he's nothing.
Yeah, Kuno's dad is fucking nothing. Fucking coma shit, drug shit. Kuno's dad is so fucking violent. He's had a stroke many times. Shit. Kuno's gonna have one too. Gonna be just like Kuno's dad. Speed shit, crime shit, fucking on the bed. Kuno's gonna go out like Kuno's dad. Never show West style.
Stop saying all this dad shit, Kuno.
The whisper comes smaller than usual.
There's a touch of grief in the bed.
What are you talking, son? Kuno's got hard shit, dead shit, lots of shit.
You don't have to turn into that.
Get your fucking nut ass out of here before Kuno fucks you dead. You think if you kill Kuno's speedy, Kuno's gonna stop like turn into... Kuno ain't turning into shit. Kuno is that shit.
The beat doesn't stop Susan. He's going to collapse from exhaustion. He will roll over.
The relief is palpable. The little hat jumps up and down behind the fence. There was a textbook with your name on it in the apartment.
Yeah, so fucking what?
It says Kuno, not Kuno. Kuno de Reuter.
What are you talking to Kuno about that kiddie shit?
I like it.
Fuck you again.
Fuck out of here. Kuno knows it's fucking lame. That's why Kuno changed it. Kuno can change his name into anything. He can change my name into...
Okay.
Don't change your name to that, Kuno.
There were tons of unpaid utility bills in there.
Fuck right away. Fucking 3 years or some shit.
Let me guess, Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit about them.
Yeah, that's right. Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit about that electricity and light shit. Just wants to put palms on people and drink.
Find a job. Pay them yourself. Your dad can't handle things anymore.
Fuck that shit. Kuno's gonna move underground. Zero that shit. Ancient shit. Kuno's gonna live in a fucking catacomb.
Yeah, in a tomb, Kuno.
Alright, well I did the right thing not to give you the drugs, because they're mine.
That didn't change shit, pig. That only made things worse. Fucking social work shit. It doesn't work, pig.
It doesn't work, Kuno. Only our shit works.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Alright, bye Kuno. Looks like there's somebody up on the roof. How do I get all the way up there? Is there a way up there from here? If we go into Kuno's little secret house. helped him turn up the heat on the borscht.
Did you now? What sort of borscht is he making?
Cook makes it to keep the strikers drunk, helps them strike.
The strike group. That's the classic. And by turn up the heat, I presume you mean put more alcohol in it.
Yup.
Why, if I may ask? Why make them more drunk? Aren't they corked enough already?
It's uninteresting. I thought it would make the broth taste better.
Curious. A very curious thing to do. What else?
He's helping me find my gun.
Oh. That's so helpful of him. So very, very helpful. And how is that going? Do you have any leads on that gun?
Nope.
Well, maybe he's not as helpful as you thought then. Is there anything else?
He asked me to open the door.
A referral, you mean? Actually, this was for someone in the RCA. Then answer that.
No, I mean like a real door to someone's house.
Oh my. A real door.
I helped scare someone for Mr. Clare.
My. What I'm hearing is you inspected the premises because you suspected that it was involved in an object exchange, and in the process you turned out some information relevant to your investigation. And then we found that fraud, surprisingly.
Though answering mine cannot fathom that she didn't ask anything.
The union's militant wing organized a lynching.
Yes, that was the talk of uptown. The Hardy Boys, they're called. Find the name rather amusing, honestly.
Everett says the Wild Pines sent mercenaries after the Union, and now one's dead.
The company did not send mercenaries after the Union. I told you in great detail about the mistakes my side made. And of course, I accept them completely. I just don't share Everett's feelings. After all, as he said, one's dead now. The time certainly hasn't killed any of theirs.
Everett asked the Union's militant wing to fully cooperate with the investigation.
How benevolent. Hopefully they'll help you sort this whole business out, if they haven't already.
I have reason to believe the lynching was a cover-up.
My, very interesting. So the militant wing is protecting one of their own.
Though one replaces to the conclusion that most benefit the other interests. That doesn't make us wrong, though.
You may untie this not yet.
Her eyes smile, and a tingle runs down her spine.
There's something in you that really takes the weight as you just now.
He didn't seem at all worried about the whole conflict that's developing.
I wouldn't have taken Everard for a stable butler. Was he surrounded by Union men he wanted to impress?
No, it was more like he wanted things to get worse. In secret, of course.
He wasn't trying to impress anyone. I think he wants things to escalate.
Or he wants you and me to believe he wants to go to war?
No, I'm pretty sure I'm reading it correctly.
I'll think it over, Detective. Thank you for relaying this information to me.
This gave her pause. She's pensive, suddenly. Hard to say about what. Have I underestimated the Union's ferocity? She has to ask herself by now.
That's all I got.
What you've said is quite enough. You've given me a lot to consider, and may have helped me prevent this conflict from escalating.
He asked me to deliver an envelope.
Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual. Where did he have you deliver it?
To a nameless settlement down the coast nearby.
Ah, yes. I've been meaning to go there.
with longing. Clear and simple longing. Strange. Why does she want to go there?
You're quite fond of this village, aren't you?
I should be. In my youth, I had a brief dalliance here in Martinez. He was an older man with impossibly broad shoulders. He's probably dead by now. Even his shack is long gone. Not that it matters. These buildings are all carbon copies of one another.
You've been to Martinez before?
Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... Don't hold it against me. My paramour certainly did not.
Sounds like you miss those times.
Not overly so. It's not like this was the only place we visited. Me and my girlfriends from Azon with our shiny boats. Like reavers. We told ourselves we were the worst thing to happen to the coast since the Coalition landed in '08. Imagine.
She tosses her head.
She's sentimental, all right. You don't know enough about her to find out why exactly. She will keep her secrets for now.
He wants to build a youth center here for the children of Martinez.
A youth centre with Edgar Clare's statue on top of it.
Her eyes run across the water remorsefully.
Go ahead. Help him. Make it so. I have no power to stop him.
So you're sad you can't buy the place?
Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidating fishing village, full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any information?
Let's talk about something else.
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later, down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
Now let's finish our reality lowdown.
More lessons in basic reality? My favourite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind.
You've got a predatory streak.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth.
What's the big time?
The revolution.
And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head.
She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration.
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
The communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
That's a tragedy.
Yes, the Red Deluge. The Insulindian Deluge, they call it.
Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Cowardly king.
I prefer the term risk-averse. King Guillaume was nobody's fool. He could smell a PR disaster brewing, so he got out alive, and his nephew Fricelle got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
liberals, you mean?
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the Ultras, or Ultra-Liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
Everyone got shot who was there to surrender to.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
You just said the liberals already took everything.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
We're the coalition.
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
If always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then hell yes I am, and also not.
An almost endearingly moralist standpoint. It must be hard to take a moderate approach to head shooting in your line of work.
When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Started it.
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
What did this Sarov do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Wow, really?
Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where did it spread from there?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
Our lives are very different from each other.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication, telematic milieus, radiation, Coloured plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
So you're saying it's been like this for 43 years?
Time flies.
What have we been doing all that time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply hell.
After that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere. No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are.
Curtsies.
Welcome to reality, baby.
From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the zone of control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away.
You don't seem
I've
to
no
be
right to be
thrilled.
dissatisfied. This shirt is Barbara Muscova, this raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just... We could have had so much more. Every one of us. If only we'd played it right.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
No, her first.
I asked you, who are you in all this?
And I asked you, past less detective of the citizens' militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Here's some wisdom, lady. Say the death thing.
They really just wanted me to be really dark, huh? I would have sought a necklace solution. Sounds like Sarath drove those people mad.
A cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck, toward the back of your head.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion? A complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago.
Privatized healthcare and work ethic that doesn't turn your brain into sponge tissue.
The wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinez inlet. A dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some distant building. A woman's voice.
It's all yours.
A poor remedy for prion disease. That was the attitude of most of the more moderate Indo tribes, particularly those who supported the king. Kupri, Resplendent, both gone now. Those that survived mended their ways. They're all ultras now.
Alright, that's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
What is this acute encephalopathy? Acute encephalopathy. I can't.
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective.
What causes encephalopathy? I don't know.
Well,
Fuck me.
it's either bariatric surgery, or long-term alcohol use?
It's definitely from the drinking.
She nods slowly. What this boils down to is, this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint, grab a bottle, and drain that shit right down your throat.
Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie, out in the open somewhere.
Wait. This reality thing is the only game in town. It's probably in your interest not to blow it.
Wipe that urge from your mind and get back to reality.
She stares at you, head tilted to the side, with a slightly concerned look on her face.
I want to know what you are.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
What are you?
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
It's sharp.
What's an ultra?
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind.
What's so vile about that?
Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. We surrendered the nation to financier pirates. No sane person identifies as ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. I can see we're not so different, you know. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her, but only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
I forgive you, but only because you're charming.
A devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly.
Beneath her waterproof raincoat and silk shirt is a body imbibed in numb 12 perfume. You are suddenly and intimately aware of it.
What the fuck? Devil woman.
I'm afraid you'll find that every woman is a devil woman, detective. There are only aesthetic differences between one and the other. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake, then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes, an oil fire on the ocean.
You're a smart woman.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're no dummy yourself.
So am I.
A smart boy getting smarter, one basic term of reality at a time.
You're a patriot?
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
What is this?
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Am I really that awkward?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
I mean, what is this place here?
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two.
What is the Rue de Saint Ghislain 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
She looks up at the crumbling facade.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
Splat, splat.
From a dilapidated balcony, Cindy the Skull gives Joyce the evil eye, her red paintbrush held to her throat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
Wonderful.
What is that? Point to Cindy the Skull.
The girl in the old lady rags.
Yes.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture.
Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
Sorry, respond to a message. Okay, now explain the same thing but to a child.
Young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's clothes are stupid, and their little rebellion is self-defeating. All right, what next?
What is...
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
She concludes.
A frisson lifts the hair on the back of your arm. Wind sweeps the surface of the bay.
The wind is sweeping the waters.
The world is a suzerainty of Revachol.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is that?
Elysium.
Elysium. The world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
What is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
I don't feel like I've got the whole picture yet.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
How come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
Inside sideways? What shape is this world
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
Dark gray corona?
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
A cold fear seeps into you.
Oh my god, wait, what the hell are you telling me?
You seem to be spooked. Please don't be.
Her voice becomes homely, calm. She lets a moment pass. The pale? And what do you mean, corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
Fractured corona doesn't feel like it's gonna bring anyone together.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you say it's disco.
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides.
What is pale?
The pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality. It is the opposite of reality.
Okay, but what is it? A definition?
Okay. The pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass.
And what is an isla?
Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7. Windy, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde.
And Insulinde is...
An oceanic isla. It comprises mostly of water. Muindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear.
Okay, what is the pale like?
Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
Is it here?
No, detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isla.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
6,000 kilometers from the end of the world?
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer,
And, there?
An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the pale is called porch collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist, cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism, a mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see.
You hear your pulse rise. The air feels caustic and cold suddenly.
What are its physical qualities?
It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible.
We're surrounded by Pale. How do you get from Isola to Isola?
Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor. Firm. Self-evident.
It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost, or having our minds damaged.
The Pale can damage the mind?
Extensively.
How?
Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
What does this over-radiation feel like?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
You're not a civilian passenger?
No, nameless detective of the Citizens Militia. I am a member of the Entreprenetic Business Class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually.
Perhaps that explains her strange pining after the revolution. Some degraded early memories.
Are you over-radiated?
Up to my gills, officer.
An acidic smile on her lips. It's getting worse every year.
What is entroponetic?
Entreprenetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of Grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
Did they cross it, the Western Plain?
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years.
What does entroponetics change then?
Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later.
Aerostatic craft?
Hybrid airships, detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near Pale to far Pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely.
And if we don't?
Then they don't.
How much Pale is there compared to the world?
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping.
Slipping how? To our detriment, or
What do you think, Detective?
it's growing, there's more and more of the Pale?
Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists.
It's not extreme at all, it's going to happen.
Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open.
Off we go into the wild Pale yonder.
One and all. They say Pale is death, but for the universe.
Why should we just leave, and the world get left behind?
Alright, snap back to reality.
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, Detective, is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything?
I sometimes sense vague shadows of a past, and it's not good.
Then tell me, what do you think of the Pale?
It's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Her eyes tense, crow's feet radiate from them. She observes you, your bloodshot eyes and swollen face.
Your ailing constitution, sweaty forehead, the beads there, and your heavy breathing.
You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then...
She stops mid-sentence. I'll handle it. It's under control.
I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague, Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he is very competent. In the meanwhile...
Some of that assurance is meant for herself, as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here.
You have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
Okay, what is...
6 kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass.
Fuck you, Chad Tilbrook.
To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
What am I?
You? You're an officer of the RCM.
She says energetically. The Revachol Citizens Militia?
Preciso mundo.
And what is the Revachol Citizens Militia?
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
You said de facto?
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
What do you mean?
The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
So I'm basically a lackey of the capital.
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you.
Why?
The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the International Zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you. So permit me to conclude with this. Who you are to me is the police, the only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol.
Thank you, ma'am.
And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help. Nothing more nor less than the RCM's responsibilities are defined by the emergency way. Truly moralist, there's nothing yet. The post-revolution, they called it.
Heard all this.
So permit me to conclude with this. And if those authorities drink so hard they need.
Okay.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? The lorries are still stuck at the roundabout. If the police is asking, one of the drivers might admit to it.
You already have some suspicions that one of the drivers was present lynching.
The two might even be connected.
Alright.
Yes?
I'll look into it, probe the drivers, see what it yields.
Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
She takes another long sip from her seemingly bottomless thermal cup.
A waft of flowers and caramel reaches you where you're standing. Wow, you work hard.
I do?
Oh, yes. You hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
What hard work do I do exactly?
Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride.
I'll fucking ride till I die, bitch.
That's just what it's like. Life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer.
Oh, and then there's pawning stuff off to that suspicious Roy guy.
Yeah, you're in the sales business. Shake 'em for shit and then pawn it off. Law officer style.
I guess I've made some guilt, sure.
Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself, are you rich?
No, I'm actually not.
That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave, and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that?
Fucking taxes, man.
That's right. 100%. Fucking G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze.
Really? Every time I sneeze?
Every time you wipe your ass. They got their direct and their indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax, alimony. One tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus there's the stuff people in other countries pay for. That makes them ask for more money from you. Here. Total tax duties add up to 98% of all your money.
Are you sure? That seems like a pretty big number.
What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed. Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples?
Bleeding nipples are kind of a pain, but how will deregulation help with that?
It's all about the tax issue, hustler. No other problem in the world is as pressing as top marginal tax rates. And don't you fucking forget it. The Jamrock Shuffle. In a way, yes, you are treasure hunting. Most officers from Precinct 41 do what is called the Jamrock Shuffle, cracking open containers. Most of them are from Jamrock or Coal City, the poorest parts of Revachol, that also overlap with the network of royal catacombs called Le Royaume, just beneath the streets. As children, you would all go underground, hoping to find treasure, and come back with a rat's tail or a used needle. That playful curiosity must still be in you. Who knows? Maybe one day the Orbe de Montagne, the Holy Scepter, and the Cocaine Skull will all be yours.
Oh, I want the Cocaine Skull. Okay, do we unlock another? Yeah, we do. Fuck it. Did I not do it right? Aha, there we go. What do we have here? White envelope with a stamp attached to the right corner. Handed to you by Everett Clare. Inside are some legal documents with 2 names.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Look at the zoning plan.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall.
Try to find a loophole.
There doesn't seem to be anything of interest here. No fine print. You're smart. You can read.
Try it again later. Alright, so I guess we can go and talk to the drivers. Yeah. That was a lot of talking with Joyce. Some of it was very interesting, and some of it was just very long-winded. The pale stuff is very, very creepy, though. It reminds me of the Nothing, never-ending story.
Looking for something, Hunt? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
You're a lorry man, right? What's your stance on drugs?
Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body.
He takes a long drag on his cigarette. Why not?
You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza. Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
Hold on, but they make alcohol, and Ilmar too. I was told they do.
I don't go for that foreign piss. Proper booze is made in Mundi. Or sometimes, I like a dram of that Yugograd vodka. Koikos and worse much, but they do no booze.
So I take it you're not smuggling drugs out of Martinez.
Not in, not out. I'll never betray the purity of my tribe.
So you're telling me that you don't know anything about drug smuggling through Terminal B?
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
He puffs on his cigarette. What are you still hanging around here for? Most other, Caminers have left.
What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kips sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
Oh.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
I did see one lorry with the trailer doors open on my way here. Do you know what happened?
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some kip boys smashed his lock and took damn near everything. Lost his fucking job over it. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to.
Serves him right.
It's a fucking travesty, is what it is.
If it's not you, then who's running drugs through Terminal B?
Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well.
Who's that?
He's a Samaran guy who likes to pretend he's some kind of businessman. Really, he's just selling his employer stuff. Stuff he stole after he broke the seals on his Humanox lorry.
Where do I find him?
Just follow the smell. It smells like apricot and oil when you're nearby.
The lorryman lets out a raspy croak at his own sense of humor.
Seriously though, he's usually just a little bit south of here. Down the other canal. You can't miss him. Just watch yourself. His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, alright? 100%.
Guess I need to pay him a visit then.
Guess so.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine.
Look in the window.
The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia. Fumes of heavy fuel oil waft over you, making your an old monument. The woman still has her eyes fixed on the photograph in her hands. In the background, the radio plays.
Snap your fingers in front of her face.
Where am I? Who are you?
Like a magician recalling a subject from hypnosis, you've jolted her back to reality.
The smile on her face has disappeared. replaced by the wary aspect of a cornered beast.
Are you alright, ma'am? You were out.
Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam in the 50s.
When else would you be then?
Back in Methka, during the time of the revolution. The sidewalks and cafes are filled with young people. I was on my way to see a new Boyadero picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro. Until you came along, that is.
Who's Gabrielle Benguero?
This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
She shows you a photograph of the lava chamber frame.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide brim hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his jaw the most perfectly chiseled thing you've ever seen. This man's got a hold over her, even 50 years later. You can feel it.
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of cinema whenever he came on the screen. And schoolboys used to memorize all his lines.
So I take it you were in Musk when you were young?
Someone was.
Someone? Are these not your memories?
They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make if it's me or not? They're beautiful. That is all that matters. Beautiful and true. And they will win. They're coming for this, you know? All of this.
She seems to derive some bitter pleasure from this strange thought, as if the past will one day wipe the present away, like a tidal wave approaching.
Sorry to interrupt your dreaming, ma'am.
I wasn't dreaming. I was there, Loman. It was early spring, and the man behind the black sun had just come out. The posters were 20 meters tall. Everything was golden.
Her eyes narrow and she appears to take your measure.
While you, people, were tearing each other apart over your petty little revolution, in Methk, it was a golden age. Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
She settles back against the railing of her motor lorry. Behind her, mountains of memorabilia, photos, and knickknacks line the dashboard.
There's something off about this woman. Tell her to show you the soles of her boots. Maybe she was at the hanging somehow.
What are you hauling?
Diamonds.
Diamonds? Really?
Of course not. But wouldn't it be marvelous if I was?
Okay, but what are you really hauling?
Whatever stupid things they put in the lorry, I imagine.
So you don't know what you're hauling in your own lorry?
I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive the lorry for the cargo, if you know what I mean.
She says that as if something narcotic is the real reason.
You get high off driving a lorry?
Oh, it's so much more than a high where I go, Harife. It's low. I go to the bottom.
She closes her eyes in reverie.
Yeah, it's definitely some kick. Some terrible kick. The Pale, probably. This Pale sounds like it's the shit.
What if the cargo is contraband?
Then it's contraband, Loman. What? Do you want to take an old woman in? Be my guest. Lock me away like Bad Hand Hermenegildo.
I still don't really understand this whole Boyadero thing.
Of course not. To truly understand the Boyadero, you need to listen to On the Western Plain.
Okay, what's that?
It's an old ballad about a young girl who falls in love with a daring Boyadero. He promises to marry her as soon as he returns from the Western Plain.
And they live happily ever after?
Don't be stupid. The Boyadero returns from the Western Plain a changed man, one night. As he and his beloved are out walking along the river Margaret, she pleads with him to give up his riding and settle down.
So he gives up his riding and settles down, right?
No. The Boyadero strangles his beloved and throws her body in the Margaret. Then he rides off, because the Western Plain is calling to him.
It's not where I thought that was going.
You have to understand.
A true boyadero needs a whole horizon to himself. He can't be tied down by man or woman. His beloved was selfish. She didn't know what it meant to love a boyadero.
What if to truly love a boyadero is to float lifeless downstream?
Before I came, you seemed away.
What do you mean?
You were in a dream, inactive, tuned off.
Yes? What about it?
The routes you drive are unusual, aren't they?
Some of them. Some of them are like home to me now. I would say the routes I drive are usual to me.
What routes?
Lomonosov's Land, Udajnaya Zemlya, the Western Plain.
She nods and closes her eyes again, letting her mind submerge.
A terrible cold comes over her, rattling her teeth as she stares inward.
The Transcatolia Magistral. You for 1A. Adestradas do Mirador. All the good ones. The deep trenches. Where the bluebirds fly.
She opens her eyes again, shudders. I'm something of an expert in blacking out. You should take better care of yourself.
You're right, Lowman. I'm the one who should take my health more seriously. Thank you for looking out for me.
A correct appraisal. You're quite shabby.
Is that all you woke me up to say?
I think I know what's going on with you.
And what is that?
You're a pale driver. You transport goods through the pale.
Oh meu Deus. The Lowman solved the case.
She lights the cigarette. A white cloud of smoke disappears into her mouth.
And here I was, thinking you were an idiot. So, are you? An idiot, I mean?
Republica. A filterless cigarette from Misk.
Republica. That's not very healthy.
Neither is spelled transportation. Life is transitory.
I blacked out from sheer heartbreak and lost all memory of the world.
Like Gabriel Buenguerro in Segúreme, Paraíso. You're the opposite of me, then. I remember everything, even the things I never knew.
Things you never knew?
The smell of liquor on Gabriel's lips after the shoot. In the motor park. The roses on the day of Franco Negro's coronation. On the grand stairs of Ryle. The smoke from the Fowling Piece when Dolores Day was shot. The look on her face, like an orgasm. The wound in her chest. My hand in my father's hand. Except I never had a father. And I never shot her innocent Dolores Day.
Over radiation?
Heroic doses, Hervé. Heroic. Thought insertion? Dithering? The Grad Catalan Magistral? It's more than dangerous. It's sad. But at first I had to make a living. Now, when you've seen it all go away like that, rolling off like the sea, and then come back to this? What are we doing here? For thousands of years, Gabriel. It doesn't have to be like this. We can just give up. We can just become a vapor.
What does it look like, the Pale?
Like looking into the ocean at night, in the dark.
And?
You cannot see it, but you know it's there. And it's big, bigger than anything. Bigger than all the other things combined.
What does it feel like?
Nothing. Until it starts. When you are deep enough. Then, for me, it's like autumn. Dark, gray, and orange. The orange of street lights and the color of streets in the electric light. It smells like autumn too. It smells terrible.
Nostalgia. Cooped up in the cabin, shaking. Terrible nostalgia. For yourself. For humans. It's too much to bear. She loves it.
How do you pass through it?
In the belly of an airship, behind the stair windows. So you don't look straight into it. It's not advised to look into it.
one on this lorry then?
No, the same one, a roller. They all are nowadays. Special wheels for connecting to the floor of the hold.
She points to the machines clumped up like toys. One last thing, you said we can just become vapor?
Yes.
I feel I already have what you have in some way.
They say there is a point. One that I have not crossed. In the Pale, super deep. If you stray too far, of course, on the U41A, or in Lomonosov's land, where every step you take is one step further from home, no matter the direction. It's a point you cannot come back from. Your mind becomes so radiant with the past, there is a flip. Instead of writing, it erases memory, nearing some kind of indescribable finale. Maybe you've been down the motorway south.
She looks at her cigarette, it's almost out. She has swallowed it hungrily, then at you. The motorway south?
It's a story as lone horsemen tell. Lone horsemen, Sheriff, not Pale drivers. Way beyond the established Pale that's lit by radio frequencies, where it goes silent and dark, and the process begins, erasure, kilometer by kilometer, in any direction. The motorway south is a road you cannot come back from.
What is at the end of the motorway south?
No one knows what's at the end. I've only glimpsed the beginning. I've only felt it in the distance, when I was a child. A child growing on the leg.
And?
Josiana.
Sigh escapes her lips, then silence as she stares within herself.
There is nothing more to do now. She's far away.
Still here. Stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
You seem like a man who knows about drugs.
Ah, man. Me and narcotics go way back. Had some good times surfing the psychic waves of my own consciousness, you know? But those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the inquiry, my man?
Do you finance those other addictions with drug trafficking?
Hey, man, that's serious criminal talk. Are you trying to pull some sort of an entrapment thing on me?
Let me just be straight with you. I'm trying to figure out who's smuggling drugs out of Terminal B.
Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. This jam's got folks up in arms, and I'm afraid it's headed toward a conflagration.
Who do you think could be conducting the drug trade then?
Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revachol. I'm a guest here. You really need to find another man to probe with those questions.
You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. When he realizes you're looking at him, his face breaks into a wide, welcoming grin. The name Sileng is embroidered over his breast pocket.
Happy shopping, officer! Everything's cool here.
Gives you a thumbs up. What's so cool?
Everything's cool. The goods are cool, the customers are cool, the place is cool. And one more thing, officer.
From out on the bay, a cool wind gathers. It sweeps into the city, tugging at the textiles hanging around the stand. Some distance away, the sound of a tin can clattering across the street can be heard.
You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang!
I'm not cool.
What? No, I can't believe you said that. You got personal style. You know what you like. You like premium menswear. Look around and browse. Everything looks cool on a guy like you. Take your time.
Don't be distracted by the flattery and funny man act. Questions.
Where are you from?
Me? It's a boring story, officer. Who cares about the past? I'm all business now. All Revachol.
But you're not a local, are you?
Very sharp, officer. I'm Serais, from the Sigai province of the Serais Empire. The apricot suzerainty, you know?
Yum, apricots are delicious.
Yes, apricots come from Sigai. My grandma used to grow them. But Sigai is a shithole. That's why I came to Revachol. Here's much better for an independent entrepreneur. Less laws. Speaking of, why not support an independent local entrepreneur? I send half my profits back to my grandma in Sigai.
So what's your stance on drugs?
Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs.
Super into drugs.
That's very cool. A lot of the coolest detectives do drugs. Sadly, I don't have any drugs on sale. Or at my home, or on my person.
He smiles.
Sir, it appears to be true. No drugs in sight. Not in the box of sunglasses or under the speakers.
We're looking for a lorry driver who is transporting drugs out of the harbor. He or she is in this traffic jam.
That's even cooler. You investigating that and all. But, I am not a lorry driver. I'm just a street vendor. I don't know anything about that.
Or a lorry man. Another driver identified you and your lorry.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. He's a hater.
So you admit that you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. I'm...
Realizing he can't get out of it. Smart man.
Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream.
He spreads his arm. So you forgot to tell me.
Exactly. It's such a small part of my life. It's in the rear view mirror now. I'm climbing out of that hole with ingenuity.
Stop squirming. What do you know about the drug operation at the harbor?
Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd.
What crowd?
Crowd. You know, the drug crowd.
There's more here. He's afraid of this crowd, whoever they are, more than he is of the racist lorry man.
Who are you afraid of?
Look, there's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please don't get me into this mess. I've spent 15 years working my way up.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
If you don't want to get into this mess, you have to give us a reason to move on.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady.
Interesting. Could this driver be connected to the Hardy Boys?
Is the lady driver the old woman back there? Dazed out, strange?
I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved. I told you.
It could be. She was strange.
Who are these other drivers who talk?
All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know. Are we cool now? I really want us to be cool now.
He's
Sure
aching
you
to
do.
get back to his usual shtick. All this whispering is bad for business.
Could she be associated with the Hardy Boys?
I don't know. I'm not local. I don't know anything about that.
Alright, we're cool now.
All right. Very cool. Let's cap this off with a purchase. A pair of funky sunglasses, detective? You deserve it. And I deserve it too. Don't you think?
Nah. I don't think. Okay.
Still here. Stuck in this damn jam, my man.
I heard that one of
What's
the
up?
drivers is a woman, but I don't think she's here. Do you know this lady driver?
I don't want to talk about that.
He shifts around, suddenly uncomfortable, then looks away. Why, do you know something? What is it?
Man, I was hoping it isn't gonna be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is.
I asked you who's conducting the drug trade. You said you didn't know. Now you're saying you do.
I didn't, man. I told you I was hoping it's not her. That she wouldn't be mixed up in it.
He still is. Hoping. It's just wishful thinking on his part. Not trickery.
Who is this person? What's her name?
Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. She kept her name a secret. From me too. Now I see why.
Who is she to you?
A friend? An acquaintance. I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's someone I don't want to rat out to the law, okay?
What does she look like?
A youngish woman. Gruff, but in a cool way.
What color hair?
Blue and violet. Dyed. It was violet when she got here. Blue before she went.
Then she may have dyed it again.
When did she leave?
Damn, I don't want to... Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad. She's not a bad person. I know that much.
I can't just let it go. It's part of a police investigation.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation. The girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it. I can't have that on my conscience.
You said she's troubled? How?
She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out.
She shared this with you?
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her.
It's not snitching, it's just a few questions.
It's snitching, man. I know what it is.
I was told everyone's afraid of her. You're not?
I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me, too, that she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her.
Did this violent life include drug trafficking?
Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind,
Hold on, her mind?
the way it worked, the trouble it was giving her.
The pain it was causing her.
When she left, did she leave her lorry behind?
Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her. They'd be more than happy to rat her out.
He's right. There are other options. The raceman, for one. The grey-haired woman. Maybe she knows something. Push Tommy and it will break his heart and his spirit. Don't expect you to be pals. Now is not the time to focus on feelings. You need that info, son. It's right here. The answer is right here. You just need to ask him. Come on, do it.
I'll just drop the matter and find another way.
Thank you, friend. Wow, this makes me feel like I should pick up smoking again. Would help with my rhymes, too.
Uh-huh. See if the racist piece of shit has anything helpful to say.
Looking for something, Hunt? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
I know you've been giving me the runaround. Fess up, where's the lady driver?
I don't know what you're talking about.
And why are you smirking?
Listen up, fuckwit. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Rivachol West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run shit.
So who does? The lady driver?
I ain't saying nothing.
You want me to get violent with you?
What? Here on the street? You won't. Now fuck off. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just tell me which one's your lorry.
Listen up, fuckwit. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Rivachol West.
Who does? You?
I ain't saying nothing. No, I'm not. I'm not coming anywhere.
Alright. Let's see if we can get the old lady to tell us what's going on then.
The woman looks at nothing, her eyes closed and her lips moving. Girl child, you hear her say. Girl child, girl child.
Snap your fingers in front of her face.
Huh? What is it? What do you want?
Show me the soles of your boots.
Now what do you want with an old woman's boots, Sheriff?
Please help me out here.
Please? I think you should let me get back to Gabriel Buenguerro. You are not Gabriel. Gabriel doesn't say please.
She's wearing sturdy worker's boots made of black leather. Buckles run across. The sole is also made of leather.
Now the other one, please.
Just before Gabriel, it was the coronation of Franco Negro. Now, there was a real man.
There is no aberration in the pattern that you can see. She puts her foot down.
Moreover, the boots were size 37. Tiny. There are too many discrepancies in all this.
Wait, by it being the coronation of Franco Negro, you mean...
Hell damage. I was just holding my father's hand. He wasn't sending the stairs in riot. The crowd had gone silent. There was dust in the air. Perhaps it was another Jerife who came and woke me up, looking at my boots, asking questions. Or perhaps it was one of the others in this carnival. I don't remember.
As she says carnival, she gestures to the empty square with the statue and the machines.
These are not the boots I was looking for.
The feet of a little girl, they fit well on the pedals.
Are you the lady driver?
Did you just call me a lady, Herife?
She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't repeat it.
I was told of a woman driver. You're the only woman here.
I'm not that either, Herife. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul.
So you're not the driver everyone is terrified of?
I'm only terrifying to small children, and to those who used to know me.
Or are you scared of the people who used to know you?
Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was.
You said long haul. That's...
The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there, it's all just...
She hums along as if to a track on repeat.
In the middle of this town, there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to stay.
You feel very cold suddenly, as if standing face to face with a terrifying adversary. Then the feeling dissipates, and all you see is an aging woman.
And who is the female driver I was told of?
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around, when I have my movies to go to? Oh, Sim.
The woman stares at you, her mind elsewhere now on other matters.
Something in her is pulling towards some unknown rest state. She twitches, like a sleep kick.
You seem like a woman who knows a thing or two about drugs.
What do I need drugs for, Lowman? What I see, what I feel, the great adversary, no drugs can compare.
The adversary?
Yes. There is a protagonista and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hole.
The POW sounds like the drug to me.
That's not really what I was getting at.
Then what were you getting at?
What is it that you're hauling exactly?
Your man, Lowman. What of it?
Okay, let me put this another way. Are you smuggling drugs through Terminal B?
Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way.
You said earlier you don't know what cargo you're hauling. Could it be drugs?
Just this month, I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grad, on the U41A. What do you think they take from Saramiriza to Grad, Lowman?
Drugs?
No, Lowman. Diamonds.
She grins.
Damn this. Make her answer.
I didn't ask you about diamonds, did I? I don't care about that.
Diamonds are good for you, Lowman. You should try them sometime. Make yourself pretty like Eva de Zoras.
You making fun of me right now? You better start complying.
I would never make fun of a real Lowman, Herife.
But you had to guess, who do you think is smuggling drugs around here?
Easy. It's the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see from here.
That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others.
If you're not involved with the drug trafficking, then why are you still waiting here?
Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music, or the seagulls. Look at all the colors and the futures of this world. It's a good palate cleanser, this jamboree. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will, to the Great Plains.
Alright, thanks for now.
Yes, go. Enough jamboree. I need to get back to Mesky.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What? But I told you she's my friend. Thank you, friend.
Looking for something, Hunt? I don't know what you're talking about.
First you knew, Seiling didn't do it.
He did something. He stole his employer's goods. Listen up, fuckwit. You don't scare me. I ain't saying nothing. I'm not in trouble right now, and...
Okay.
A lorry stuck in the windows are clear. Fumes of heavy fuel oil. The driver as a large metal pen. The back end of the cabin.
I knew I already looked in there, I just wasn't sure if it was gonna give me anything else at this point. Well, I know we want to talk to, Smoker Dude after 9 o'clock if he's there. I don't think we're gonna do that tonight, though, because we know how long conversations can drag on for this game.
A mirror hangs above a bent and broken sink. In a fierce discharge of masculine energy, someone has ripped half the faucet off. Hot water sprays from the base, and steam covers the mirror. You cannot see yourself, just the outline of a man. Suddenly, you realize you have no memory of the face that awaits you there, underneath the soft vapor.
Really? Nothing?
Really, all recollection of the person you are, the people in your life, and even the world you're in has drowned in a sea of blood alcohol. This was no mere night of drinking. It was a deluge of world-ending proportions. With all the synapses you've extinguished, it's a miracle you can even think this sentence. You've interrupted a true act of self-annulment here.
Wipe the mirror.
As you slowly reach your hand towards the surface of the mirror. Abort. You clearly have not thought this through. You won't like what you see there, and you will never unbecome it.
Maybe I should touch it first, make sure there's nothing wrong with my face.
Yeah, there is definitely something wrong with it.
What? What's wrong?
Where to even begin? There is the bloatedness, then the swollenness. It's like there's an upholstery of alcohol underneath your skin.
I'm sorry.
Bet you are. Your nose feels like a small balloon in the middle of your face. It hurts when you honk it. It doesn't appear to be a particularly tiny nose either. Not with all the drinks it's absorbed for you.
At least my tongue is okay.
It's not. It's swollen and snail-like, wriggling between your fingers.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared. It's only your face. It's not like anyone's going to see it.
Wipe the mirror now.
Behold.
Oh, wow.
You have no idea who this thing is, do you?
This is the This is the face of a late-stage alcoholic.
Too late. You clearly have rigor mortis on your face. Oh wait, is that an expression? Are you trying to make an expression with that face? Why?
I'm not making it, the face is making it itself.
Please stop. It's horrible. You're scaring yourself.
Okay.
Oh my god. You can't stop. It's like it's not even voluntary anymore. You have worn that grin into your face and now it won't come off. What does it even mean? What is the emotion you're trying to convey?
I think it's supposed to look suggestive. I'm afraid it's meant for the ladies.
Please promise yourself you are not going to try it on any of the ladies, whatever happens.
I promise. Lie.
You liar. You can't even tell the truth to yourself. Go ahead. Try something.
Use the chain cutters to fix the faucet.
The faucet is
Oh,
quite
shit.
terribly mangled, but you just might be able to twist its parts into place. You handle the chain cutters deftly, applying just enough pressure. The faucet regains a recognizable shape. The steam stops. Told you that you needed those chain cutters. Everything is connected. Everything has a purpose. The mirror begins to clear slowly without you having to wipe it.
Okay. Attempt to stop the expression from happening.
It's like something snaps in you. A nerve ending. A thought. A sadness. Your face in the mirror is suddenly clean of the layer that had distorted it for God knows how long. Just like that, it's over. The running gag that your life had become. A sad old man looks back at you.
Alright, let's try the really low percentage check.
Like the rest of you, it comes from a bad place somewhere in the past. That's all you know for now.
Oh, don't go to the fan.
This is not the cleanest bathtub in the world, but it's cleaner than you are right now. Ah, that soap scum smell. It smells like life, at least compared to you.
Run a bath.
The bathtub slowly fills with water. The water beckons.
Undress, close your eyes, and submerge.
The water is only lukewarm, but still comforting. Like amniotic fluid. A few beer cans are bobbing up and down along your flanks, like sad duckies. You feel nice and lonely, and so tired.
Take the beer cans out.
Now you are alone with your thoughts in the tub. But it's easier than being alone with your thoughts outside the tub. They're not even really thoughts, just assorted sensations. None of them acute enough to focus on.
Imagine something.
You see the corpse. You can still smell the cadaver on you. It's going to take more than one bath to get rid of that stench. Then, houses along a narrow street. A video rental. Darkness on the planet's curvature.
Linger in the tub a little.
Your fingers grow pale and are covered with tiny whirls as the water cools. What are you doing? You're not some fat fish in a fucking aquarium. Time to get moving.
Get out.
The waterline recedes as you stand. You are cold now. Your clothes stick to your still moist skin.
Okay. See our little tassels quick. Alright. Definitely gonna want to talk to the smoker. What's that?
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in.
Look out.
You see some lights shimmering outside, but it's difficult to make out the outlines of the buildings below. Dark phantoms with many tiny eyes, chaotically arranged and not looking at you. The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window came from the inside.
Did I break it with my own hands?
A fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent.
What did this then?
More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact.
Assess the size of the impact.
It is too large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking for something heavy and larger than your fist. The shoe you found on the balcony fits the hold almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown with force. Congratulations, you smashed the window with your own shoe.
Maybe it wasn't me?
You mean someone else took your shoe off and smashed the window with it? This person also forced the drinks on you.
I'm sure I had a good reason for it. Maybe I was trying to hit someone?
And maybe, just maybe, you succeeded. We'll never know. Or maybe you were trying to smash your own reflection in the window pane.
Yeah, that's pretty likely, actually. Okay. As I said, we don't know how long the conversation with the smoker over here is gonna go, so I think we're gonna call it. I don't know what else we really have to do before the end of the day here today, and yeah, I don't want to start that whole conversation if it's gonna take like a full in-game hour and a half or something. So, we'll do that next time that we jump into Disco Elysium, talk to our smoking friend, and see if he has any extra information for us. When I hop on the next couple of days, I think we might go back into Fallout, so that we actually finish the game. We weren't that far away from finishing Fallout 3, so I just kind of want to get it out of the way at this point. I'd stopped playing it because I was too excited about Shadow of the Iron Tree coming out. So, it got thrown to the wayside for a good while. But I think now's the time to get back into it before I completely forget everything about it. So, yeah, that's the plan for the next day or two, is some Fallout, and then Friday we'll do Elden Ring. Saturday, we were going to be doing Crab Game, but since that's glitching out, we might start something new, or we'll just keep on working on Elden Ring. Because I don't want to start too many things at the same time. But if there's anybody still lurking, thanks for hanging out. It's always great having anybody here. I hope it was entertaining. Sorry if there was any issues. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully we'll see you sometime later on in the week. This has been A Boy Named Sue, coming at you live straight from a baked potato. We'll see you next time.